if God exists, okay, faith is actually believing that.
Yeah.
So I guess we can have faith in lots of things, but it depends what you have faith in, yeah? So if we have faith in God, in the Christian God, then what does that mean to me? Well, that means everything to me, okay? Because what that Christian God claims to do and claims to be, and the influence that Christian God claims to have on my life, is all-consuming, okay? Because he claims that unless we believe in him, we have no life, okay? But believing in him, we have life. You know, believing in him, we have eternal life, okay? So it actually makes all the difference.
Yo, welcome to the Apex podcast. Make sure you tap in. My name's Laura.
My name's Jemima.
And today we have an amazing guest.
Yes.
His name is...
Hi, yeah, mine's Martin Smith.
We got Martin with
Martin
us.
in the studio, come on.
We got Martin with us. And obviously, as you can see, we have a new setup, which is pretty cool.
Yes.
We've got mics, we've got headphones, everything's looking good.
No.
So, yeah, we're going to jump right in to some golden nuggets. So, if you've watched before, we have 3 categories. And in each category, we have 5 questions. You have to get at least 3 questions in order to get some nuggets. If you cannot complete at least 3 questions, then you get to do a shot of vinegar.
It's changed, it's changed up.
Everything's changed up. We changed the layout, we changed everything. So
Changed the
you got
forfeit,
vinegar.
come on.
Exactly. So, okay, I'm going to give you the options. Okay, first of all, we have animal groupings.
Okay.
Then we have facts about Dagenham.
Okay.
Ooh.
Yeah. And then we have variable M, which means that every single answer starts with an M. So it can be any question. It's kind of like general, but every single answer starts with an M.
Okay.
For Martin.
This is for me, yeah?
Yeah.
I would go with animal groupings. I don't know what that is, but I'll go with that.
Come on.
No, everybody avoids this.
Come on, let's go.
So basically, it's like, I don't know, to give you an example, like a school of fish.
Okay. Oh, I see. Oh, no, can I change?
Yeah, you can
That's
change if
terrible.
you want.
That's terrible. Okay. I'll go with facts about Dagenham.
Alright, sweet.
Ooh.
Okay.
There we go.
All right. So first question.
So starting now, yeah?
Yeah.
You
Starting
need to
now.
get 3.
Yeah, you need to get
Yeah,
3
you
out
need
of
to get
5.
3. What was the name of the plant in Dagenham? It's like a industrial plant.
Yeah, the Ford car plant.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay.
Why was I thinking something like goes from the ground?
Because I said plant.
Okay.
Second of all, what is the name of Dagenham Borough's local history museum?
Valence House?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, I knew that.
Doing well.
You got 2. It's going to get harder, so don't even do that. In what year? Actually, you might know this. I don't know.
What year?
In what year? I'll give you options, though.
It's very specific.
In what year was Dagenham merged with Barking as part of its formation of Greater London?
I
Either 1967, 1958, or 1965.
I had none of them in my head because I actually read this yesterday. Give me those dates again.
1967, 1958, or 1965.
1967.
Nope.
Oh.
Okay.
I was hoping you'd go for that one.
Okay.
What is it?
It's 1965.
Oh.
Okay.
All right. Okay, 2 more. What area is not considered part of Dagenham? Beacontree or Becontree Heath, Rush Green, Seven Kings, Old Dagenham Village, or the southern section around Dagenham Dock?
7 Kings.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Wait,
you
is
got
Rush-
3 out of 5.
Hey.
Which means
I thought
drink-
Rush Green was Romford.
Nice.
Have I
It's part of it.
escaped?
Yeah, it's part of Rush Green. Yeah, you've escaped.
Wow.
So I'm gonna drink the vinegar.
Vinegar.
We got Blackhand actually today. So Blackhand's gonna give us the vinegar.
Laura's forfeit. Oh.
Yeah. And you guys get to eat some nuggets.
Yay.
Sad times for me. But it's okay. I like vinegar, so I don't care.
Wait, lying.
This might
Wait,
be
lying. Look
but the
at
thing is,
her.
this might be a different type of vinegar where I'm just like, I can't. This is actually my first forfeit.
Ever, yeah. She didn't get
There
the
should be a chance to redeem
I
yourself.
got Marmite like twice or something, or 3 times, whatever.
And her first every single. Lovely stuff. Do I just... Ooh. Oh, wait, what is this?
I would use a straw.
Why are you giving me more vinegar? Oh, this is malt vinegar. My favourite. Okay. Oh, this is a lot though. I can feel it in my throat already. Yikes.
That is a lot. Oh, man, in one go.
Ooh.
What does
It's
it
alright.
taste like? What does it taste like?
Vinegar. I like malt vinegar actually.
Nah, then.
That's a lot in one go.
Look, it's tasty. It's tasty stuff. It is quite potent, but it's decent. Alright. Ooh, you can have this.
It looks like plantain. It's mine. I'm just gonna bring.
Hey, thank you. Wow.
Looks like you don't need those.
What's that, vinegar? Yeah.
That's the
Just
vinegar packets. I thought it was brown sauce.
Nah, it's vinegar. But yeah, you guys get to munch on some nuggets. That's delicious. I'm not gonna lie, vinegar is tasty. You're not gonna break me, guys. And then we're gonna get to know more about Martin.
So, now we're gonna move on to the get to know you part of
Hey.
the episode. So, I have 5 questions here
Good.
for you. And we're gonna start with what would be in your starter pack?
Okay. I have no idea what a starter pack is. I didn't have any idea till you told me. So, so I guess it's what I give to somebody, to tell them this is what I'm like.
Yeah.
Okay, so there you go. I guess my starter pack would definitely have like a Bible in there, okay, to represent my Christian faith. Yeah, which would be cool. I think it would have some sports equipment because I do enjoy sports and pretty much into sports when I was younger, particularly. We would probably go with some books because I did lots of studying and that kind of stuff. We'd have a joke or two in there because I think jokes are funny. Yeah, they are funny. Most of them are funny.
Is it?
Well, every joke I ever tell is funny. Yeah.
Okay.
This is true. This is
There
true.
you go,
I can
okay.
attest to that.
Is it?
Yeah.
I'm gonna hold you to that later.
Well, and yeah, I would put in there, in faith, a brand new Mercedes-Benz car
Hey,
because that would
come
be
on.
so cool. Yeah. So that could sum me up. Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
So what would you say? Next one. What would you say is your most embarrassing moment, or one of them? If there's too many.
I actually have loads, you know. I do. I think when I was younger, I think I just had embarrassing moments after embarrassing moments, and so I do have lots of embarrassing moments. I'm trying to think of them. I'm thinking one, which I'm not going to give you my most embarrassing moments. Okay, I'm not going to do that. That's not for public consumption. Okay, in any way, shape or form. In fact, probably the first 3 aren't for public consumption in any way, shape or form. Okay, and thinking of them now, I'm cringing. So I'm giving you very mild ones. Okay, very very mild ones. One of them would be when I was at uni. Okay, a guy who was in the room next to me really had a bad night in terms of his bowels. Okay, it wasn't good. Okay, and he went to the toilet all over his sheets. Okay, it was really bad. And yeah, there you go. And so we were talking about this, and we used to put our sheets outside the door so the cleaning people could come and take them away. And so we said, "What do you do?" I said, "You put them outside my door." And so that wasn't good. So I suddenly realised that I was going to be thought of in a bad way because of what had happened there. So
Yikes.
that's the kind of friends I had. Not good.
Nah, especially because you're not there.
Yeah.
You can't even be like, no, it's not me.
Yeah, you can't even fight your case.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's done and dusted. Yeah, someone's impression of me has completely changed, possibly because of nothing I knew about. Yeah.
You're just Mr. Bowers from now on.
There we go.
Just Mr. Bowers for the rest of your university career.
No, I'm sure that's not true. Okay, next one. Hobbies. You said that earlier that you'd put sports into your starter pack. So what's happening?
Yeah, so I enjoy sports. Yeah, most sports. Okay, I really enjoy them, and you kind of get back into things. So when you finish studying, when you get a job, and when you get a family, okay, a lot of stuff just falls off, you know.
Yeah.
And because you got so many other things to do. But now I've kind of started to get back into things a bit again. So Yeah, I used to be into sports. I'm starting to pick up some sports again. Started swimming, open water swimming.
Hey.
That is so cool.
What's the
okay?
difference? What's open water swimming?
Well, open water swimming is swimming in open water.
Like a
Believe
river.
it or not, okay?
Like a
But it's so
river.
cool. You can do all of. Well, we're doing it with Nathan, my son, okay? And we are doing it at Royal Docks in Docklands, okay, in London. Yeah, and it's so
Sweet.
good.
The Thames.
The Thames, the River Thames, okay, and it's freezing cold, man. So when we started, it was April, okay, and it was 9.8 degrees Celsius.
Oof.
That's pretty cold, yeah, pretty cold. But it's good fun because it's you wear a wetsuit. And,
Okay, I was gonna say like, if I
yeah.
I was
just
thinking about
Yeah,
Bora.
yeah.
all of the plastic just washing off.
And as soon as you jump in, like your first job is just to breathe because it just takes your breath away.
Yeah.
You just got to breathe, focus on breathing. Once you can breathe, then you can start to swim. Okay, so that's what I'm doing right now. So that's a pretty cool hobby right now. I'm doing.
That sounds
which is
cool.
good.
I
Yeah.
like to swim. I can swim.
I can't.
Yeah.
I can't swim, but I believe if I got into water, I could swim. I don't know why. I'd probably sink, but I do believe that
You
I
need
could
to learn to swim.
I could probably swim.
That's
The
a
thing-
life
do you know what?
skill,
Do you know in
Laura.
primary school we were actually they took us swimming for about a couple of months
primary school
actually.
swimming, they didn't want you to learn how
No,
to
but like
swim.
I was in the beginning, but obviously I was talking the whole time, so I wasn't even like learning how to swim. I was just there
the
to
chit-chat
socialize, so I
ones.
didn't pick up any
So
skills.
three quarters of the earth is covered in water. You have a chance of landing in that
Yeah.
water at some point.
Wait, an
you should swim.
island. Why don't you know how to swim?
No, I will learn how to swim, but I do believe that just by miracle I'll probably just get in there and just be so
Oh, God.
in the environment, develop some gills or something. I don't know.
Maybe we need to go swimming.
I do.
I want to see you in the water, like.
You don't honestly. I'll probably sink to the bottom, honestly.
So that's funny. But yeah, open water swimming. That's crazy. I didn't expect that.
Oh, there we
Oh,
go.
I see.
Yeah, it's good fun. She's right.
Yeah. So next question. What was your first job?
Oh, okay. My first actual job that I got paid for was one day when I was in my teenage years, and I was stacking shelves in the supermarket, okay, for one day, and it was very, very not good. But my first proper job was working in Oxford Street in London, and I worked in a shop called Benetton, and Benetton's not around too much now, but it was quite a reasonably high-end fashion shop, and they used to do these really nice woolen stuff in various different colours, and they were expensive as well, fairly expensive. And I worked there and sold clothes, 1% commission. Okay, so how cool was that?
1%? Wow, is that good?
Commission. I got paid as well, but 1% commission.
Ah.
But they were quite expensive.
I was about to say.
So this sounds crazy, but you could make £10 a day. That was a good day. That sounds crazy now, okay? But £10 a day, that would give you like £60 a week. That's not bad, okay?
Yeah.
On top of your salary. So Oxford Street was cool, okay? And so I used to work in there. So that was my first proper job. Yeah.
Wow, I went to a job interview in Oxford Street.
Oh, was
in,
it?
you know the top shop, like the big one.
Yeah.
That's like has like a cafe. It has like everything in it, but now it's closed. But like, yeah.
They
I
didn't.
didn't get
Obviously,
it.
yeah. Obviously, you didn't get it. Look at the way you're
But
speaking.
it was
just
fun.
like,
It was fun.
yeah,
I've never been to that
cafe.
top shop. It's like a tourist attraction. Like everybody goes
Yeah.
there. Like lots of foreigners. Like it has like 4 floors, and, like a cafe, food. But obviously it's closed now. I think.
Yeah,
Top
it's near
shop.
my uni, so.
Huh?
It's near my uni, so.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oxford Street's cool, okay, really
Yeah.
cool.
It's pretty cool,
I actually love going into central London, okay? It's a great place to be. Like so
I
many
love
different
it.
people there, so much going on, okay? It's just good,
Yeah.
good fun place to go.
Vibes.
Yeah, like it.
Vibes.
Christmas time as well.
Yeah, the lights.
Yeah.
The lights.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
really good.
Right. Who are you listening? Next question. Who are you listening to right now?
In terms of music.
Oh boy,
Are
no,
you into
you can't ask that question.
Do you not like music?
I
You're not a big
do.
fan?
Yeah, I do like music. I could never give someone I listen to. I listen to such kind of crazy, wacky stuff all
Yeah,
over the
same.
place.
Yeah.
I actually have got into slightly, embarrassingly, okay, some artists from the 80s, which I liked a long time ago, and kind of liking again a bit now.
Rekindle.
So-
What's the artist?
Who did you say?
Rekindle.
Yeah, it's a bit like that, okay. So
What's the artist?
The artists.
Barry White.
You are digging deep now, my friends. Okay, and I'm going to expose myself totally. So I used to. There was a band called Dire Straits in the 80s. Okay, they
What
were
was
pretty
it?
cool. Dire Straits, they were called.
Oh no,
They were pretty big.
I know exactly who you're talking
Yeah,
about.
Mark Knopfler.
Yeah. No, I think I have a song of theirs on my
Yeah.
on my thing, on my phone.
Yeah, check it out.
Yeah.
And they were pretty cool. And so it's kind of like realizing they were quite good, these bands.
Are they like swing?
Back in the
almost?
day? They were kind of jazzy swing rock. Yeah, they were a genre all their own really, and they're quite unique. But mainly it was based around Mark Knopfler, who's an excellent guitarist, so a very, very good guitar player.
Yeah. I got Sultans of Swing.
Sultans of Swing is big.
Yeah.
That was one of their biggest. Yeah. But they were massive.
song.
They were absolutely massive in the 80s.
Yeah.
But I listen to lots of worship music, okay, and so obviously Hillsongs and stuff. That's pretty cool. Yeah.
Sweet. All right, cool. So,
Right.
moving on to the waffle of the week. I've got a waffle. It's kind of like about growing up. We'll talk about this before. So the question is it worth worrying about growing up? Is it worth like sort of being worried about like what you're going to do in terms of like job and where you're going to end up and stuff? Because I'm at the point, like personally, that like I'm in uni, but then I have no idea what I want to do after that. In terms of like where I want to like live, what I want to do, like so. Is there any point? And I feel also that sometimes you can kind of feel like, oh, I'm young, I have time, but then also you're kind of like, the time's ticking. So do I really have time? So what do you guys think?
You need to think. Okay, I did not think. Yeah, I just drifted. I did drift. Okay, totally. So I didn't actually really think till I became a teacher. Yeah, so I the rest was just like drifting. I was not in a good place in my
Pure
life.
vibes.
Okay? And yeah, I think you need to give yourself a day where you just sit down and you think, what do I really want to do? And then once you've answered that question, then you can start to take some steps towards it. Yeah.
Yeah. I think kind of both. Like you need to look at where you want to be, or at least have a serious think inwardly.
Soul search.
Inwardly think about what you want to do. But I don't think it should get to the point where you're stressed, or you know, like really, it's becoming overwhelming.
Yeah.
You know, have a plan or a rough plan at least, but don't like, you know, don't. It's not the end of the world. If you don't have a plan.
And I think also sometimes like you can look at, I guess it's with the whole comparison thing, I guess. Like sometimes you can see people do really well at your age and you can feel like what am I doing?
Especially like
I'm just here snoozing.
Yeah. Like my friend's got a whole business, like
Oh, is it?
one, like she made an app or something like that.
Oh, is it?
I was like, huh?
What kind of app is it?
I have no idea.
Oh wow, doesn't even support a friend. This is crazy. This is crazy.
No, I think it's like for hairstylists and stuff.
Oh sweet.
They can put their like things. It's like a directory, I guess.
Oh yeah, nice.
Kind of, so different services can put their stuff on there. So that's what she made. I'm like, wow.
Yeah, and sometimes it's like I'm
Yeah,
not even.
you have to work out what really excites you. Okay, so you can't just copy someone.
Yeah,
you have to work out what really makes your heart skip a beat.
Sets your soul.
Your
on fire.
passion.
And, yeah, there you go. So I mean that's different for all of us. So follow your dream, follow your heart. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
I actually saw a quote. Actually, it's, I think it said, "Be fearless" or something like that. In the pursuit of what sets your soul on fire. So like sort of just figure it out.
Yeah, I love the stuff about we're all born unique, but end up copies of each other. You know.
Yeah.
So
True.
you need to.
I think it's like that nature nurture kind of thing.
Yeah. You need to keep being yourself your whole life.
Yeah.
Don't
definitely.
follow somebody else's
Clone.
copy. Yeah. Don't end up a clone. There you go. Okay,
Yeah.
so cool. You know.
You just, I don't know. Like when I pray, I just pray every day that God like stirs a passion somewhere.
For something.
in my heart.
Oh man, well I'm big on that. Okay, there's a path for you. No, I'm big on that. There's definitely every single person on planet Earth, okay, has a calling, I believe, okay, has a path, has something that God wants them to do, and all we have to do is find out, yeah. And
Yeah.
a great way of finding out actually is just thinking what would I like to do? Okay, what really helps me? What would I enjoy doing? That's a great thing. Yeah.
Actually, someone told me that a good way would be figuring out what you don't want to do.
There you go.
So,
Yeah, no, that's true. Because I knew that when people like, oh, in school, like, oh, what do you want to do? Because obviously, with my A levels, biology, maths, and chemistry, I was like, oh, so you want to be a doctor? And I was like, no, that is not what I want to do.
Disgusting.
I've seen my sister struggle.
Big up all the doctors.
Becoming a doctor. There's no way I could be a doctor. So I was like, yeah. So that was good.
But yeah, so I guess don't stress too much. Just take the time. Allow yourself time to actually develop ideas and develop sort of things and research.
Don't put too much pressure on yourself.
Yeah, and I also find that like so a lot of time you think of like uni, or a lot of people get into more apprenticeships and stuff like this. So there's like different ways to do things.
A lot of people think that there's only like one way. Like it's only uni and then job. But there's other ways.
There's other ways to do
get
things.
To that job.
Yeah, just research.
Yeah, but don't stand still, okay? You can just stand still and say, I'll just sit here and wait till someone phones me up, okay, offers me a job.
Or wait for it to come to me.
Don't, just do something, okay?
Yeah,
at least you'll know you don't like it or you do like it, okay?
Yeah.
Just do something. And then my experience is God will push in the right direction, okay?
Yeah.
But just start moving somewhere and start doing something, yeah? That's the big one.
Yeah. So we're going to move on to our big topic, which is what we got you on here for.
Yes.
Some questions about science and religion and all of that stuff and faith. Yeah.
So you said that you are educated and you had like in your starter pack, you said you put loads of books in there because of you've done like what sort of like degrees have you done and stuff like that?
Yeah, I think I'd do that because I think as I was growing up, I think studying and being academic has been part of my experience. Okay, so I went to into a boarding school at the age of 11, and going to a boarding school was outstanding for me. I loved it. Okay, but there was just two things that mattered there really to the school. One was sport, and one was studying. Okay, so you do get those two things ingrained in you to some degree. So I always grew up around studying, and I always thought studying was a good thing to do. Okay, and my mum was a teacher, so I always thought you meant to work hard at school. So by God's grace, I did sometimes. Okay, I didn't do as well as I could have done at school, but I did okay to get through. So I went to did O levels.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's old. That's old.
Okay, O levels. Okay, they've now called GCSEs. Okay, yeah. So I did them, and I did A levels, and I went to university as well. So I studied biology at university. My big passion was physics. I love physics. I still do love physics, actually. So I do, in my spare time, sometimes research a bit of physics and watch YouTube videos and stuff. But I was better at biology. I got better marks at biology, so I ended up studying biology at university.
So playing the game.
Sorry?
Playing the game,
Like
right?
everyone, that was me. Like I didn't try in biology, but it was always my best grade.
Yeah.
So if I tried, imagine if I got like a high grade.
That's what I thought, and then I got into A levels and.
No.
Yeah, I mean, physics was my passion actually at school, but I think because I had a really good physics teacher, and then I changed schools, and it wasn't quite the same, so it didn't quite work out for me. But then I ended up teaching science for 20 years. Okay,
how did you do that? So, like, did you go like a course, or I know like some people just like, especially years ago, it was kind of like you can kind of just be there. like some people didn't necessarily have like qualifications for teaching like decades ago. So like, how did you?
Really?
No, yeah. I've heard people be like, oh, like people just invited me to come teach some kids, and then they just became teachers.
Yeah, I think things probably a long time ago were quite slack. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, in one sense, it's gone full circle, but there are some schools now, free schools, where you can do that. You do not need a teaching qualification. That's correct.
Yeah, that's evident in some schools.
Oh wow. Do you
however,
name drop?
I'm not no dropping my.
There's loads of routes in now, I believe. I did something called a PGCE, Postgraduate Certificate of Education, and that was a 1-year course, and then got me into teaching, and that was good fun. So I enjoy teaching. Obviously, teaching involves studying as well, involves reading books. So what was the question? Was that the question?
Okay,
yeah,
that was just like a
how do
to
I
give
get
everyone-
into
yeah,
studying?
into, like,
So
science
I've
and-
kind of been around that all the time. I kind of thought everyone was, but a lot of people aren't. But that was my experience growing up. Okay, yeah,
Okay, so what does... Okay, I'm going to ask you two questions.
Yep.
I'm going to ask you, what does faith mean to you? And is science the complete opposite of that?
Good question. Okay.
Ooh, that's a spicy question.
Okay, what does faith mean to me? Well, okay. If God exists, okay, faith is actually believing that.
Yeah.
So I guess we can have faith in lots of things, but it depends what you have faith in, yeah? So if we have faith in God, in the Christian God, then what does that mean to me? Well, that means everything to me, okay? Because what that Christian God claims to do and claims to be, and the influence that Christian God claims to have on my life, is all-consuming, okay? Because he claims that unless we believe in him, we have no life, okay? But believing in him, we have life. You know, believing in him, we have eternal life, okay? So it actually makes all the difference. And the very act of having faith, I think, is the vehicle that makes the difference. So faith is a strange thing, and it's a very powerful thing. But in terms of the Christian God, in terms of Jesus, okay, actually having faith in Jesus is all it takes to do the business, if you understand what I'm talking about, okay? Because well, the Bible says we're saved by faith, okay, which is really cool. Because it means you don't have to be clever, you don't have to be, intellectual or whatever, okay? All of us can believe or not believe. So, I'd say faith is to me, is the most fundamental thing that I have. And even when all else fails, we can still believe if we choose to, yeah? If we choose to believe that God exists and he is there, that makes all the difference and in our lives, okay? So when we read the Bible, then that totally can change us if we believe it, okay? So we have two choices, believe or don't believe. So that's a big one. So faith to me is everything. The Bible says we live by faith, okay? That's how we live, okay? And if God is real, and if he is there, then it does make all the difference.
Definitely.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So do you think science is the opposite of faith?
Yeah, well, that's massive, okay? Science is not the opposite. Science is totally not the opposite of faith, okay? It's often perceived as that because science is perceived as being facts, and science is perceived as being things we can measure, and things that we can take on board, and things that are definitely true. But we need to understand that a lot of science is actually faith as well, because a lot of science is a belief in a certain way of understanding something. Okay, so I can take a measurement, or I can make an observation, but then when I take that measurement or that observation, I still have to work out what's going on, and I have to apply some theory or some faith, in other words, to that observation. So the two do not contradict, okay? If God did make the whole world, as I believe, okay, then he also made science, and he also made everything we see around us and how this universe functions. He made all of that as well. And I cannot see any scientific observation or fact, okay, that can disagree irrefutably. That means we can't disprove it, that there isn't a God who created the universe. And I've looked into this big time, okay? And there's nothing you can point to say, oh, well, look, that
means that
therefore proves no God. That proves no God. It doesn't exist. That bit of evidence does not exist. So no, science just tells us how God created the universe, okay? And I don't mean how in terms of the Big Bang, okay? Because that's a different thing, okay? I won't go there just now. But I mean, science is just observing the universe that God created. And actually, if you go back in time, when science was just developing in the 1700s, that kind of time, that was the scientists of the time were very much discovering that. They were doing science because they wanted to find out, how did God create it? How did God glue all this together, you know? And so they don't contradict at all. There's many scientists who have a Christian faith. There's many scientists who don't have a Christian faith, okay? Unfortunately, those who don't have a Christian faith would eliminate God from it. They think just quoting God on things is a cop-out and is not valid. But they can't put forward a theory which replaces that, which is quite interesting.
My brother actually, he showed me a video. I'll try and find it. So maybe we can put the link in the description or something like that. And it was this guy talking about that, literally the same thing. But he talked about sort of like the Noah's Ark and all of that stuff, and like, so he's a scientist and he's a Christian at the same time. So
as we said, like, science is us trying to figure out what's going on. Do you think that's a bad thing? Like, is there such thing as knowing too much?
Ooh.
No, not at all. No. I think God's given us a wonderful world to find out about, okay?
Yeah.
And no, I've got no issues with that at all. We should absolutely delve into everything. And that's really exciting because there's some weird things that happen in the universe.
Even the sea, apparently we've only discovered like 5% of it.
5%.
Oh yeah, and we have no idea what dark matter is, okay? We haven't really got much idea what black holes are, okay? Then you start talking about quantum physics and your mind gets blown. Okay, so there's a lot of stuff we just do not know about. Okay, and one of the weirdest concepts, and it kind of answers what you said before, and this may blow people's heads off because it blows my head off sometimes. Okay, is that time ticks at different rates in the universe. Okay, that's a proven fact. Okay, sometimes time goes faster, sometimes time goes slower. Sometimes time stops. Can you grab that? And this isn't like science fiction. This is true. So when you ask the question talking about time, in Genesis 1, well, the issue is we have no idea about time because time can be fast or slow. Okay?
Yeah, I was talking to my friend about this actually 2-3 years ago when we were coming back from sixth form, and I was like, time is just a concept. Like it's just going, and then we kind of went, okay, cool, this is 5 minutes. Because I remember I was watching Horrible Histories when I was like 10 years old or something like that. And then they were talking about like the Roman emperors, like some of them like added on months to the year. So technically, I mean, there used to be like 10 months, and now there's 12. So technically, we can just shift it.
We could just choose to add.
Yeah, if we want to, we could just choose
just
cause.
Well, not even that. Literally, time just change though. Okay, so we can add to the month. But if I was to take 2 clocks, and they both say exactly the same time, and I take 1 clock and it goes off in a jet around the world and comes back, the 2 clocks will read different times. Okay.
Yeah.
Time actually ticks slower. There's lots of films. What's the film? There's a film that showed that big
Inception.
time. It wasn't Inception. It was the other one. I forgot what it was called now. I will think of it. Okay. I mean, Hollywood's trying to get onto this now. That this crazy concept of time changing. Yeah, which is amazing.
Yeah, lots of time travel, time.
That's sick.
Time jumping.
Yeah.
Interstellar. That was called. Remember Interstellar?
Oh no, I've seen it on my Amazon Prime, I think it is, but I've never actually.
Yeah, if you watch Interstellar, it explains it quite well. Okay.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah. So explains it quite well.
I'll probably watch it today actually.
Okay. So so you think God made this whole universe for us to find out everything?
Oh, totally, absolutely. I mean, that's the exciting bit. Okay, that discovering how things work.
Because like in the Bible, of course, it's like everything they knew because God told them, or they heard things from God. There wasn't really science back then. I don't know.
I think maybe I guess there was science because there's obviously this discovery of it, but maybe they just didn't call it science. But they were probably just doing things like when they figured out there was like fire and stuff. They were probably just fire.
Yeah, I think we live in a nice time where we've got time and resources to spend looking at things. Okay, I think in previous times just eating was your big challenge, wasn't it? Okay, but actually reading the Bible about Solomon did. He studied plants and named all kinds of plants and stuff. Okay,
Plants are cool.
that kind of thing. You have people studying animals, of course. They've been breeding animals for a long time, that sort of thing. Okay, so science was always there. Science is just finding out why things happen.
Yeah.
It's just that we've got a lot better at it now.
Yeah.
Because we've got experiments and things. But people have always wondered, why does that happen? Why does that happen? Why why can we make fire? How can we cook food? I mean, this is all science, okay? How can we do things? So it's always been there. I think we've just had, we have more time on our hands to be able to explore these things.
Dedicate
now.
like a whole study to it.
Yeah,
But I guess, I think it's just taking God out of it probably is just the issue, really, I think.
Well,
it's not really that there's science.
You see, if you're a scientist and you don't believe in God, God can never be a reason for why something happens.
True.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
it's like a cop-out for them. It's like...
It just doesn't make sense, so it's just like, why would I add that if I don't believe
be like,
that?
I don't know this theory, let me just say, oh, it's God.
Ignore.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh,
it's,
yeah.
It's hard for them to explain it to other people, I guess.
Yeah.
But if you're a scientist who does believe in God, you're always thinking, well, how did God do that?
Yeah.
So there is something...
Isn't
So actually, go back to your first question, okay? It was amazing. There is something more fundamental than science, and that is faith. Because faith affects your worldview.
Yeah.
And your worldview affects everything.
Yeah.
So two people can look at the same event with different worldviews and have a different take on that, okay? Yeah. So even anything at all, your worldview depends on what you take out of the situation, yeah?
Yeah.
And so worldview is more important than actual, science.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely. So one of the other points is about the existence of God. Obviously, we are all Christians at this table here. But there is, like, especially when we learn in GCSE and stuff, like one of the topics that did make us, like, argue in the big, essays is the existence of God because of the problem of evil theory. It's when the problem with evil theory is if God is all loving, all knowing, and all powerful, why is there evil? So what would you kind of say?
Well, I'd turn it on its head, okay? I'd say if there's evil, there's got to be good. There's got to be good, yeah? If a thing called evil exists, and I think we'd all understand that some acts are just evil. If evil exists, then good must exist, surely. The big one is that, and that actually causes issues for some people. If God is all-powerful, why do bad things even happen? I don't think that's getting the concept of the Christian God right, though, okay? The Christian God really is a God who has given authority and power to people, yeah? So he loves us so much that he's actually bestowed upon us power and authority to make decisions.
Free will, yeah.
And the deal is we make bad decisions, and most evil comes from bad decisions.
Yeah.
So we blame God for famines, and Jesus said, if you've got two things, share one of them, okay?
Yeah.
So we've been given the answers, but we don't do it.
Yeah.
So then we blame God, who's given us the answers, okay?
Yeah.
But if you give responsibility to your children, I've got 3 children. If you give responsibility to your children, then you give responsibility to them, and if they mess up, they mess up, okay?
Yeah,
but the act of giving responsibility is an act of love, and it's an act of respect.
Yeah.
If I treat my children like robots and always tell them what to do, that's not treating them with any degree of respect at all, yeah? So God treats us with such respect and such love. He's actually handed over authority and power to us, which actually it says that in Genesis 1, which is amazing, because that means, we are, to some degree, are masters of our own destiny, okay? We can make decisions which affect the future, which is incredible. But then we can't blame God, okay? And say, well, we've made this bad decision.
Why would you give me free will to do it?
Yeah.
That's what often happens. And even like with Adam, he was like, why did you give me this woman? And it's just like, but when he gave you the woman, you were happy about it. So
no, it's true. If I go and make a bad decision, I can't blame God for that decision. It was my decision. Okay, we have the ability to be creative and make decisions, which has consequences.
And often I think like what people get at most is like I guess, like, when they necessarily didn't make the decision themselves, but something has affected them. So I guess that sometimes we have to realize that maybe it wasn't, like, for instance, if you made a bad decision that affected someone else, it wasn't their fault, it was you, but that's how it happens. Like, the evil kind of spreads in that way. And like, they're going to go, why did this happen? But it was because of a person's bad decision, not because of God, because he's given them free will, but they've just gone and made a bad decision that affected someone else.
Yeah, but that is a big one. That is a big one. If something's happened to you due to no fault of your own, okay, somebody else has done something bad, and an evil deed, it's affected you. Yeah, I think all we can grab on that is this: we are all interconnected. Okay,
Yeah.
Everything has consequences, and that doesn't change God's view about you.
Yeah.
So even though this bad thing happened to you, God can still make it all right for you in the end. Okay,
Yeah.
God can still sort it out for you if we turn to Him. So another reality of life is that that our decisions don't just affect ourselves; they do affect other people. And that's also how we're wired. Yeah. But that is hard.
Yeah.
So with like God's plan, do you think it's always changing, or do you think it's like the same thing? Because obviously you said free will. So if if we all have free will, we all get to do things. Let's say we straighted this path, and let's say that path doesn't necessarily lead to God's plan, or I don't know
What God like
or
had
God-
for you, like, well, I guess,
you get somewhere, and I guess we don't know God's plans. I don't know. How to explain
I mean, I was talking to with my brother about this actually, because obviously God is outside time, so he kind of, if you think of it like almost like a board, or not a game, but you know, he like knows where you're gonna get to this place, and like you're kind of here, so he's kind of figured it all out. But I guess because of our decision making, because we have free will, we can take different routes. I guess like you could say that we could take different routes to get to that specific point though.
Yeah.
Obviously you could take a left, but like with Google Maps, you can just reroute. So
Totally.
I guess it depends if you continue to make decisions upon decisions that would stray you away from that path. But ultimately, I think if you do accept God, then He can just reroute you. Back
Totally.
to-
I mean, as a Christian, okay, part of our, developing as a Christian should be, seeking God and asking Him, okay, what is Plan A?
Yeah.
And He will tell us, He will guide us. But yeah, like the sat nav, okay, the sat nav never tells you off when you get lost, okay. It just simply reroutes you, okay. And it's the same thing, I think, with God. Yeah. So yeah, we can make bad decisions and go all over the place. But He'll always try and reroute us back to Plan A.
Yeah.
I'm convinced of that. It's whether we're willing to follow. That's the big issue. Yeah.
That's true. That's true.
And things can cause us. We can say we want to follow, but things like fear can sometimes get in the way.
Yeah.
That sort of
Stop us
thing.
Mm.
in our tracks.
True. And then this brings me to, I think my last D&Q is, so you said about, bad people, stuff happening to us that we can't control. Let's say somebody else does something bad to us because of them, because of their evil and stuff like that. But somebody said, I get that bad people do bad things, but what about natural disasters?
Yeah, great question.
Yeah.
Okay, well, in Genesis, okay, there's tons from Genesis. If we just believe the thing, okay, it talks about when people were given a choice, okay, when Adam and Eve were given a choice, they did make a bad decision. They chose to do something God said don't do, and that brought a thing called bad or sin into the world. And it was very clear. It wasn't just bad or sin in us, because we have sin in us, okay? It's very clear it came into the world, okay? So actually the whole of creation was affected as well by our decision, okay, to turn away from God. And so, yeah, there are natural disasters which cause issues, because the whole earth actually has been affected by bad or evil or sin. Yeah. And so, the New Testament sheds some light on that. It starts talking about the whole of creation groaning, okay, for eventually, being what God wanted, yeah? And talks about, in the end times, it'll all be great again, okay? But yeah, so not only were we affected by sin and bad decisions, but the Bible does talk the whole of creation, the whole of this world is also in a state of not the best place. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I didn't know that. I mean, we've all read the creation story, but sometimes
in terms of deep in it, like really reflecting on it. And it goes back to because then people will be like, oh, but I didn't make the mistake. But yeah, it's just consequences of people's actions again.
True. Yeah, going back to what you said about how our decisions now affect other people around us as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, if I catch COVID, okay, it wasn't my fault, yeah, but that doesn't mean I shouldn't take the medicine.
Yeah.
So, in fact, we all suffer consequences from something.
Yeah.
We don't grow up in bubbles, do we? Okay.
Yeah.
So it might be a big thing someone's done to you. It might be a small thing someone's done to you. We all have things done to us. Yeah. But we shouldn't therefore start saying, well, just because this bad thing happened to me means I'm not going to take the medicine. Yeah, So if I'm ill, I take the medicine. So as human beings, bad stuff happens to us. We don't blame God. We ask God to help us. Yeah, He gives us the medicine. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. That's all my D's and Q's. Do you have any
other questions?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got a couple. I got two actually. So the first one is, why do less people audibly hear God's voice?
Less people audibly hear God's voice. Wow, that's a great question.
Because obviously it was like a big thing in the Bible. Well, actually, how big was it really?
Yeah.
Is the question, I guess.
Well, the Bible often talks about God speaking to people. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't think it's talking about the audible voice very often there.
Yeah.
God can speak in dreams and visions, just a thought that comes into a head. God speaks through the Bible, of course. So there's loads of ways God speaks to us.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say that's necessarily true. Okay, I would say that God is still speaking to people all over the world.
Yeah.
And I reckon that God is still speaking audibly to people as well. I think it would freak people out if we did that. Okay.
Yeah, all the time.
Laura, wake up.
You're on the toilet. Yeah, literally, wake up.
I mean, if you read in the Bible, actually, when angels have appeared to people, or the audible voice, it uses words like, and they were terrified.
Yeah,
okay?
yeah.
People are.
Do not be afraid.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm thinking, how can I not be afraid?
So don't just think that God speaking to you would be a great thing. In the Bible, it says people were terrified.
Yeah.
Okay, they were shaking with fear, and so I think God speaks to us in a way which we can understand the best. Okay,
Yeah.
and He speaks to us in a way which we know beyond the shadow of a doubt was God. He knows how to do that, I think.
It's a personal thing,
Yeah. It's a personal thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I think almost like when people read the Bible, they kind of think of it as like just like a story sometimes. I feel like sometimes it can feel so like it's not really connected. So, well, for some people, so like in terms of like audibly hearing someone's voice, it might feel like so like, oh, they were probably used to it. Whereas like you said, they were shaken in fear like we would because they're humans just like us. It's just maybe like in terms of like customs, we might not understand like why maybe they wore certain things or stuff like that, but we kind of forget that they were just people.
Yeah, because I think sometimes we can just be like, oh, like that was them. Like,
that's when like Abraham was just like, whoa.
But really, the Bible is very
it's very
us.
It's literally us, but like in a different time.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We are them. Could be any one of us.
And we do the same things that they do. We mess up in different ways. We lie, we cheat, we steal.
Yeah.
I think we should expect God to speak to us, though. I think totally. In terms of communication, I don't think God's gone quiet. Yeah. Okay, I think we should expect Him to speak.
Sometimes I think it's our listening that's a bit
messed up.
Yeah, because sometimes we don't expect Him to speak, so we're kind of just like looking for any reason to say that that probably wasn't Him. I didn't really hear Him, so it probably wasn't Him, or stuff like that. So.
I mean, remember, God's always trying to get us to faith. Okay, He's always trying to get us to believe by faith. And actually, if He does too much sometimes, it's not by faith, okay?
Yeah.
So that sounds weird, okay? But actually, if He speaks audibly, that requires no faith.
Yeah.
So we have to... God, I think, is always pushing us into a faith situation where we have a choice. You know, if I speak to you, you've got no option, okay? You know I've spoken to you, okay? That's not by faith, that's by reality, which actually is, you may think is good, but but what's better is believing by faith, because that really changes us inside.
So, like, obviously thinking about that, like, is that because of the fact that, like, in terms of obviously getting to heaven, that's that you have to believe by faith. So I think obviously if everyone is just hearing God's voice like off rip, it's like how do they?
There's something about faith which is amazing. Okay, I remember when I was just thinking this yesterday. Okay, am I talking too much, guys?
No,
okay.
no,
So
that's good stuff.
I used to be a goalkeeper. Okay, and this I was thinking this yesterday. Okay, and I had a left back. Was he left back? He was a right back. Called Ray Burns. Are you listening, my friend? Okay, and he can be famous now. Okay, he was a great left back. Okay, and I can remember just once, where a ball came through. Okay, ball was kicked through by the opposition or by somebody, and he went towards the ball and then just left it. Okay, because he knew where I was. Okay, he knew I was behind him. But that was by faith, okay?
Yeah.
And man, I felt so good because he was trusting me, okay? He was leaving the ball in complete assurance, I think, that I was going to handle it, okay? I was going to pick the ball up. And that made me feel so good, okay? Because it made me feel like I was trusted, I was believed in, and honoured, you know? And so I think it's the same with God, you know, when we do it by faith, that just does so much more. So it creates something, you know, and so it creates something which wasn't there before. So God's always shifting us towards believing by faith in everything. So I think perhaps in answer to your original question, when we hear God's audible voice, if we ever do, and I never have, it no longer is by faith. Okay, so it may be great to do it, but actually.
Something special.
It doesn't do as much inside of us as it does by faith,
Definitely. I got one more question.
Sorry, I missed that. Could you say it again?
Hey, Siri.
I'm so sorry.
No, that's all right. Siri's been listening to the conversation. The last one is, due to the Bible being lost in translation, maybe because obviously it's been translated into different languages and stuff like that over time, how much effect does that have on the way that we understand the Bible?
Okay, great question.
Because, like, personally, I'm getting into, like, maybe trying to figure out words in the original sort of, because obviously, because I speak a different language, so, like, I know that, like, sometimes you can say a certain word and, like, it's like something behind it, invokes sort of like a feeling behind it. It's not just you saying maybe like I love you,
like love, like
yeah,
love
like
has
love,
so many
like
different
like different ways of saying it. So it might be familial love, but it might be like a deep sort of appreciation for someone, stuff like that. Yeah.
No, it's a great question, and I think actually we are in quite dangerous times. Actually, I think in previous times people have said the Bible's not true. Mm-hmm. In previous times people have questioned the Bible, but now we have, I believe, got people who are taking the Bible and actually trying to rewrite it in some areas, okay? Which is really dangerous, okay? That is a tricky one because there are many translations now and many paraphrases as well, which could cause issues. What I would do is I would first check, is something a translation or is it a paraphrase, okay? Yeah. So a translation is where scholars have sat down, usually in a group as well, okay, and they have discussed, thought through what words mean, and have come to a common understanding, okay. A paraphrase is where somebody has tried to interpret what they're saying. Yeah. So I would check, first of all, you're reading a translation. Now, it doesn't mean paraphrases are bad, okay, because they can give a different slant on something. But if you're using this as an absolute thing to base your life on, okay, I think you probably should go back to the translation and just check out how it was arrived at, okay? Check out how it was produced. And there are some big ones, okay, that people do trust. So I think that's what you got to do, yeah.
Cool. I think that's everything. Anything you want to add?
No, but about the translation thing, I think definitely people today, because the people translating it are just people, and people make mistakes. People do bad things.
If it's one person, you got to think about that. I think.
Yeah.
Okay, one person. Okay, come on.
Yeah, and it's also again from their like worldview, like we were talking about before.
Yeah, your worldview affects everything.
Yeah, so yeah, it's really hard
especially
actually.
in like whenever somebody's trying to like the villain or something, or like even in history when somebody like Hitler, for example, he had to influence the church. He had to make, what's it called, the Reich Church or something like that.
Yeah, the Reich Church.
Changed the thing so that he was like ahead of God. Like it was
crazy.
So that's kind of crazy that they can just change it and people just believe it, I guess.
Yeah, I guess, but also because people are so fearful of what might happen to them, they're just like, we'll just go along with it, mate.
And that's why I feel like Christianity is kind of different to like other religions, because it's like it's more about yes, the Bible is very important, but ultimately it's your relationship with God.
Yeah, it's your heart.
God will tell you what's real.
Yeah, definitely. Anything else you want to add?
No, that's good.
Any books that you think would be good for people to read or anything like that?
There was a great book by a pastor called Wayne Cordero. It's called The Divine Mentor. That's a really good book, okay, just for any Christian. It really is about that, about hearing God, okay, getting reading the Bible, okay, being able to understand the Bible a bit more and just developing a relationship with God, okay. So often we go to lots of other people for mentoring, but we should actually go straight to God, okay. Yeah. So the Divine Mentor by Wayne Cordero, that was a book that was a big influence on my life, yeah. I'm reading books all the time. There's a great book called Scattered Servants. I'm trying to think of the author now. Okay, Alan somebody, and that's really about just being a Christian wherever you are.
Yeah.
So most of the church, shouldn't be in church. We should be out there. And so that's where we're called to be in one sense. Yeah, we were called to gather together. Of course we are.
Yeah.
But we're called also to be a Christian wherever we find ourselves. Okay, so yeah, but there's two decent books.
Yeah, cool. Make sure to check in the description for the link for the video that I'm gonna find. But yeah, that's all from us. About sort of like evolution and science and religion and stuff like that. I quite enjoyed the video, so maybe you enjoy it too. But yeah, that's all from us. Make sure you follow us on Instagram. It will come up on the screen. Also, for dates for youngers and olders for Apex, make sure that you check in with that so you know when that's on. It will also be on the screen. And check out church Sundays online. Yep.
Focus on Tuesdays. Bible study for youth, 7:30.
Yeah, that will also be on the screen for the dates and times. And yeah, for Sunday Online, I'll make sure that White Hand puts a link in the description to reroute you to that. Yeah, I think that's everything. Tapping out. See you guys. Bye.